Well, hello, Masterpiece Women. This is Tina Raines, and I'm the founder and the host of the Masterpiece Women podcast and membership community. I hope you're doing wonderful today. I am just so thrilled to be here with you today. Let's talk. Let's talk about being great leaders, and let's talk about setting goals, because it is imperative that we set goals and we stick to our goals. However, what I was thinking of when I was thinking, okay, it's so important to create goals and it's so important to achieve our goals. But the reality is, when is the best time to create goals? And I'm going to challenge you today to consider, we're in November. And when you think about next year, you think about 2023, oftentimes what happens is people wait until January to create their goals for the year. And by then, the year's already started. And so if you think about business, most businesses have a strategic plan that includes at least 5 years. But then they also create their budgets in October and November for the year. So if you haven't done so for next year, I'm going to encourage you today to sit down and think about what your goals are for 2023. Some of you are going, I don't even want to think about 2023. I'm still trying to get my goals done for 2022. But I'm going to say to you, if you haven't, you're going to be behind. And let's talk about that. When you think about even personal goals, we're not just talking about business goals, we're talking about personal goals as well. How many people actually accomplish their New Year's resolution when they create goals? The estimates I've read, I did a lot of research about that last year, and the reality is that about 33 to 39% of Americans will set New Year's resolutions. But did you know that less than 11% actually accomplish them? Some studies showed 9% actually ever reached their goals. But it did show some very interesting information about the ones that did reach their goals. If you wrote down your goals, you are 50% higher chance of actually accomplishing your goals by simply doing this, writing it down. Because there's something that goes from the pen to the brain that gets you in that mode, that actually concretes that in your brain. And when you start visualizing yourself at reaching those goals and you're writing it down, it increases that percentage. And you know, if you write it down over and over and over for 21 days, some studies, some researchers say you write it down for, Carolyn Leaf says it actually takes 3 sets of 21 days, so 63 days. However, if you write it down even just for 21 days, it is going to improve the chances of it becoming a habit, because habits are created. Most of us work and live and breathe within our subconscious. We live based on the habits we have created. And some of those habits are not good. They're not getting us to our goals. We're not reaching our goals because our habits are not matching up to our goals. And we're not really seeing ourselves in the place of achieving our goals. So we set them, we think them, but either we don't set proper goals, or we're not using SMART goals, which many of you know what the acronym SMART stands for. They're specific. Your goals have got to be specific. What do I want to accomplish? And if I want to challenge you that when you're not only making specific goals, for instance, if you were to say in 2023, I want to earn $100,000. Well, how are you going to earn the $100,000? I want to earn $100,000 by December by implementing the process of increasing my social media followers by 30%, or something that, and I'm just throwing something out there randomly, but my point is it needs to be very specific, and it needs to be measurable, and it needs to be achievable. It's stated in some of this research I did for New Year's resolutions that many of the individuals who set their New Year's resolution that didn't achieve them was because they said, well, I made too big of ones. It was too high. The goals were unreachable. And oftentimes I find that business owners do the same thing. If you're making $0 and you're starting a brand new business, it may or may not be realistic for you to set $1 million a year goal. That may not be a realistic goal for you. However, if you're starting a brand new business, it may be realistic for you to say, I want to make $100,000 this year. But then look at your year. And when you're talking about measurable, make it measurable for the year, but also break it out by month, because it helps you to set goals and break them out by month. And then I encourage you to look at your month and break it out by the week and then by the day, so that every week you know what your goals are. And it goes back to time management, because when you think about the SMART goals, they're specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're timed. So if you can make goals each week that are specific, they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're timed, then watch what happens. You will achieve them. And then one week adds up to the next week, adds up to the next week. Suddenly you are at a month and you've achieved your goals for that month. And it just keeps compounding on top of each other each month. And so when you're making goals, make sure that you're not only making SMART goals, but you're visualizing the goals. You're really visualizing yourself accomplishing those goals, that you're including your senses. And there's a couple of different ways you can do them. I mean, you can do things such as a vision board. You can actually, cut out from a magazine pictures of different things that you want to achieve, so that you actually can visualize yourself doing them and have a picture for the year. Some people do better with pictures and graphics. Make yourself a vision board for 2023. Where do you want to be? If you are doing a direct sales business and you want to be at the top level, visualize yourself going across that platform as the double, triple, whatever black diamond that is in your organization. Visualize yourself. Even the Bible says, speak things as if they were. So when we speak the truth, when we speak that, and when we think about our family goals, what do we want our family goals to be? Because when we're looking at our goals for the year, not only do we want to have SMART goals for our business, we want to have SMART goals for our spiritual walk and SMART goals for our family and for our personal. I do 3 sets of goals for the year. I do my personal goals, and in my personal, I have my health, I have my family, I have my my extracurricular activities. What are those goals? What do I want to learn this year? What do I want to write? What do I want to do personally? What are the things that I personally want to do? And how much time do I want to spend with my family? How much time do I want with my husband? And those intentional, excuse me. I just got Invisalign. For those of you who've ever had them, wow, what a learning process this is. And I was so used to being able to roll my R's and speak Spanish that I tried to do it the other day with my Invisalign on, and it was not working well. It was so funny. But anyway, that's a side note. Let's talk about goals. My goal is to be able to communicate clearly with Invisalign. So at this age that my dentist said, okay, you can either replace all your crowns because your teeth are moving so much, or you can get Invisalign. So guess what? It's cheaper to get Invisalign. So here I go. I'll have perfectly straight teeth in a few months. It's too funny. So my goal is to have perfectly straight teeth next year. That's part of my goal. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about another strategy when we're talking about making goals that will get us where we want to be in our future. We want to think about 4 P's of goals as well. We want them to be personal. If you put the I will be, I am going to, I am, because that makes it personal. You then own it. And if you make it positive, the positive, not I will not eat fattening foods anymore. No, I will only eat foods that will be nutritional in value to me. You see the difference? When you make goals that are positive versus negative, then you start thinking in a positive manner. If you make goals that are a negative manner, whether it's health, fitness, those, then suddenly it's a drudgery. Let's face it, some people don't like to work out, but if they do, well, I'm going to work out 3 times a week and get healthier, feel good, not I'm going to make myself go to the gym 3 days a week. You see the difference in that? The positivity versus the negative? Sometimes it's just in how we say things that makes a huge difference personally and professionally. You want to make sure, so it's personal, it's positive, it's possible. You want to make sure that your goals are achievable, they're possible, and then prioritized. And so when we're talking about setting goals, priorities, not only am I challenging you to look at where you want to be next year at the end of 2023 and start planning now for 2023, I'm going to say start looking at your planner specifically, not just the goals, but look at your calendar and prioritize and start adding in there the things that matter the most before you ever plug in your business goals, before you ever plug in your social calendar. Plug in the time with your family, intentional goals and time management to be able to reach your goals with your spouse, your children. What does that look like? How are you going to effectively prioritize your time with your family? That is a huge thing. John Maxwell, I'll never forget, said this about time management. First thing he ever puts on his calendar is his family vacations for the year. And he starts in the fall, planning for the year ahead, sometimes even earlier. Puts his family vacations and his family time. And of course, before he does that, he puts his time with God in there. But that's just an everyday thing for him, getting up, and for me as well. And I make that a priority because I don't function well if I don't have my time with God in the morning. And I'm not successful because I don't have his wisdom, because I'm not asking him for it. I'm sure he gives me wisdom anyway, but I don't feel like I have anything without having him first and foremost every morning. So it's important to really prioritize your time and your time management so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And when you're thinking about time management, one of the things that will really help you is to journal. If you will write it down and you will journal your time, and we have some time management tools that are free in our membership. You're welcome to download them here. We'll put them at the bottom of our podcast. But if you will create a written journal every day, we created one that's literally for each day, and start writing it down, or get yourself just a notebook or a journal and write down hour by hour what you're doing, and put in that list hour by hour what your goals are for that day, but also the tasks that you have for each hour. and you stick to it, and you put groups of time where you're grouping your time. So emails, okay, goes in this time frame. Callbacks goes in this time frame. Miscellaneous can be right here. And add in those blocks of time where you do follow-ups and things like that. So you're not constantly checking your email. So you're not constantly answering phone calls. So you're not constantly doing the things that are not getting you to your goals. They have to be done. They're important. And some of those will get you to your goals. However, what happens is this: if you don't block your time with related time management, of course, going back there, then you do not get your goals for the day done, because it takes, and I've heard 11 to 16, depending on which research study, but anywhere from 11 to 16 minutes for you to get back in the frame of mind where you left off when you're interrupted. So the worst thing you can do is allow things to interrupt when you are focused on a specific task to reach a goal. So I'm going to encourage you to really think about your time management, to really think about how you can prioritize, and think about how you can make sure that you do not allow distractions to pull you away from reaching the goals that you have. So that's the key to setting goals. They must be smart, and do your 4 Ps. And most importantly, prioritize those goals. Because if you will prioritize the goals and you will set realistic timeframes for them, then you will achieve them. And one statistic I think is very, very powerful is that if you set a goal and you write it down and you do all the things that I just described, they're realistic and personal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you still may not reach your goals if you do not have accountability. Do you know that 80% of the people who write their goals down and have accountability reach their goals? That's huge. So what does that say to you? That says being in a community, working together collaboratively with other people will help you achieve your goals. Having a coach, the statistics on having a coach, increase that to 90% because they're coaching you and walking you through it. That's part of why we created the membership, is so that we could help women entrepreneurs build their businesses, not only with the tools, but with the accountability in the community, so that we could hold each other accountable, so we could support, so we could collaborate, because all of that is key to really achieving your goals. And as leaders, we have to be able to set an example for those following us that we're able to reach our goals, that we're truly accomplishing the goals that God has given us to achieve, so that we can then show others how to do them. And if you do it in a simple manner, it just, to me, it's that KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid. I believe that you're going to go very, very far. Yes, you need to have a SMART goal so you can make sure that it is measurable, so that you know that you're going to be able to accomplish it, etc. But I'm going to encourage you to dream and to set God-sized goals. Don't be scared. Do not set goals based on fear. Oftentimes I hear leaders setting a goal very small. Well, I'd rather overachieve it than underachieve it, because they're scared that if they set it too big, they won't be able to accomplish it. Yes, do you need to be realistic and be able to accomplish it? Absolutely. But I'm going to say that if you will veer on that high side of, what you would consider realistic, if you think it's 100, go 125. Because if you trust God to do it big and you work hard and you get rid of all the distractions, you will probably go to 200% if you do it correctly. And that's by being strategic, surrounding yourself with people who hold you accountable and who encourage you and collaborate with you. Get into some networking groups where you can build business together. It's important to do things together. You achieve more in community than alone. And that is my key to success, is doing it as a team. I actually just wrote a chapter in a book, and it was all about when, remember when Peter went to pull in all the fish? First of all, Jesus tells him to cast his nets out again. What does he say? He's like, really, Lord? Like, I just did that all night. And he was like, do it again. He's like, okay, if you say so. So he did. And he cast his net out. And what happened? He cast it out there and he filled it up with fish. Well, Peter could have never pulled it out on his own, could he? He had the success, he had this incredible accomplishment, but he couldn't finish the task without the rest of the community. You could have a great idea, you could have a great business, but you're going to thrive if you do it in community. So find your community, find your tribe. If you don't have one, we would love for you to come join ours. But what happened? The people helped Peter, and they got the fish on the boat, and he had great success. Without the other people, he would have done nothing. So we're the same way. In collaboration, in community, we're so much more effective. If you have accountability to reach your goals, you're going to be much more effective. So start planning today. I would love to hear from you. What is it that you're setting your goals to do next year? What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your visions? Seek the Lord, ask him for wisdom. What does he want you to do next year? What is it that you've been putting off for years and years and you need to get accomplished? For me, this year was my books. I have 2 chapters, have another one coming out in 2 weeks called Surrendered. And then in April of next year, I have my own solo book. And so that's a big part of my goals for 2023. So you can hold me accountable for that. So hopefully you'll all buy my book and say that it was worth the strategic planning that I did for my time management and my goal setting. So I look forward to having you read that. And I look forward to having you in our community. Go to masterpiecewomen.org, check it out. If you need tools for time management to help you get to your goals, we're going to have the link to that down below. So be sure to just download it. It's free. We'd love to see you in our community. That's 30 days free too. So we're all about supporting women who want to build business in collaboration with other women. Have a great day and God bless you.